Tennessee escapes Arkansas 34-31 in a game that we thought could turn out to be a little wacky. The good, the bad, the ugly, as Tennessee improves to 5-1 on the year.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome into it. A brand new week of Locked On Vols, a new week of college football, and it's a big week for the third Saturday in October. And we're going to have you covered every single step of the way right here on Locked On Vols each and every day this week. Today's episode, Monday's episode, presented by our friends over at Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward, Mazda, where you can move and you can be moved. I'm your host, Cain. Thanks so much for being here, making Locked On Vols a part of your morning routine, your first watch, your first listen each and every single morning. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And on today's show, we're going to go back through and kind of give you my thoughts. I've gone back, I've rewatched the game, I've written a couple columns on it, have had some time to rest and digest on what was the 34-31 win for Tennessee over Arkansas. So I'm going to give you, at least 4 big points I have from this football game here in a matter of seconds in segment number 1. Pro Football Focus stats that actually matter, coverage grades, directional passing, snap counts, all that and more coming up in segment number 2. And then the box score stories. Who performed well? What is Tennessee doing well in this football game? And what is Tennessee continuing to do well or not do well over the course of the football season? That's coming up in segment number 3. Don't forget, mailbag edition of the show. That is your time to shine every day. You can make your questions known. I'll do my best to answer those. That's on tomorrow's Locked On Vols. So, appreciate you guys, as always, for being here. Really, really do thank you for being here and making Locked On Vols your first listen. You go back and look at a column that I wrote Sunday afternoon over at VolQuest.com, and I call it a 4 downs, and it's been up for over 24 hours, so I'm going to talk about it here on the show. I broke it into 4 different sections. Arkansas explosive run plays on the ground. 3 takeaways, but just 7 points for the Tennessee defense and Tennessee offense. Some glaringly bad defensive stats and some guys stepping up. But before I even get into these points or some of these points, I do want to make mention. I kind of talked about this on Saturday night, right? Like, you're getting to a point of the season where you're halfway through. Can this team still evolve and improve in certain areas? Sure, it absolutely can. But you kind of are who you are. And right now, Tennessee is a team that can score with anybody. It's got a really good offense that even kind of steps on its own toes at times and still puts up 34 points in a game where I thought they were far from bad, but clearly that's not the best football game that offense has played. I'll get into that here in a moment. But it's a defense that's going to give up a lot, but it's also going to create some opportunities. And, in real time, I went back on rewatch. It was a bad first quarter, but really through 3 quarters up until about the 12-minute mark of the fourth quarter, Tennessee's defense was kind of where it was kind of where, I don't want to say where it wanted to be because that's inaccurate, but it was playing a pretty decent game late into the fourth quarter, and then it allowed 2 late fourth quarter touchdowns, and it just implodes the stats, and it makes this game a 3-point deficit, and that's not where you want to be, right? But overall, I just kind of think you are who you are at this point in the season. And Tennessee's a defense that's going to create some opportunities. It's going to, pressure the heck out of the quarterback and sack the quarterback. But it's going to give up a lot on the ground. It's going to give up a lot through the air. Offensively, it's an offense that can keep, tick for tack with anybody in the country. And so you're going to have a chance to win every single game. And that includes this weekend on the road at Alabama, where Alabama opens as 9.5-point favorites at home, according to our friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook. So, again, it's ugly, but maybe ugly is the norm. And if ugly still produces wins, then you're still doing something right. I guess what I'm trying to say. So, let's start with some of the defensive stuff. Defense, they forced 3 takeaways, but the offense only got a touchdown out of that. And in fact, it forced 4 fumbles. Only 3 were recovered. One was, of course, a Jordan Ross strip sack fumble where Tennessee went 3 and out after that. Idris Farouk had a forced fumble along with Jordan Ross, who was a part of that play in the third quarter, where Tennessee ran 3 plays, actually lost 2 yards in the ensuing possession. They did cash in on a Joshua Joseph's forced fumble where Jaden Perlotti recovered it at the Arkansas 19-yard line, and Tennessee was able to cash into that one on a short field in the fourth quarter, so that was good. But when your defense is actually giving you some opportunities to go make some plays, offensively, you got to cash in on that. 34 points, it could have been so much better. Could have been so much better than 34 points, but the offense did not cash in on that. In fact, in total, additionally, Tennessee's offense was able to score just one touchdown off two of the punts that it forced in this football game, and also on a forced punt after the defense held its water for a turnover on downs in the third quarter. So in total, Tennessee's defense managed 14 points, or Tennessee's offense, managed 14 points on 23 plays of 129 combined yards on 6 defensive stops that Tennessee had in the football game against Arkansas, where the Hogs did not score any points at the end of that drive. That's not good enough, right? Takeaways, punts, force, and turnover on downs, 6. You only score a touchdown on 2 of those? That's not good enough offensively. So I thought that's an area where the offense really needs to come around a little bit. Here are some glaringly awful defensive stats that I want to point out. And, Brent Hubbs and I kind of dove through the stats. He did a lot of the heavy lifting, so I'm not going to take credit for all this. But we kind of did the stats here over the weekend after the game. And, man, third downs, specifically 3rd and 7, not good. Arkansas converted on 7 conversions, third downs, 5 of which were of 7 yards or more. All conversions in this football game for the Razorbacks were of at least 6 yards. On the season against Power 4 opponents, offenses have converted 13 of 35 third or fourth downs that were of 7 yards or more. That's 37% on third or fourth downs that are 7 yards or more. Tennessee is just 1% point better at defending against Power 4 opponents' third and fourth downs of less than 7 yards. That is not good. Not good whatsoever. Additionally, Tennessee defense giving up way too many explosive plays of 20 yards or more. Arkansas tallied 8 plays of 20 yards or more on Saturday offensively. Opponents have now logged 32 snaps of at least 20 yards against the Tennessee defense in 6 games. To put that into perspective, the Vols surrendered just 45 such plays in all of 2024, a season that consisted of 13 games. So I'm going to reload that for you. 32 plays of 20 yards or more allowed by the Tennessee defense so far this year, 6 games. In 2024, 13 games, they'll have 45 such plays. So the pace is not very good. And then finally, red zone defense has got to improve. Now, I will say Arkansas is dang near a lead in this category, one of the nation leaders, in scoring touchdowns in the red zone. They were 5 for 5 in the red zone with 4 touchdowns on Saturday night. On the year, Tennessee's allowed 18 touchdowns on 23 red zone opportunities by opponents. Again, looking back at the 2024 campaign, Tennessee gave up just 17 red zone touchdowns on 37 trips. So, Tennessee's given up one more red zone touchdown, 18 on the year, in less than half of the games played, 6 this year, than the defense allowed in total last year, 17 red zone touchdowns in 13 games. It's not good. They've got to correct themselves on 3rd and 7 or more, red zone defense, and giving up too many explosive plays on the ground. It's just it's not good. You look at those explosive plays on the ground overall, and man, it's hard to look at. Arkansas tallied 10 plays of 10 yards or more on the ground. They had a 38-yarder, an 11-yarder, a 26-yarder, a 22-yarder, a 22-yarder, an 11-yarder, a 15-yarder, an 18-yarder, a 13-yarder, and a 10-yarder. You look at what they did through the air, 6 plays of at least 15 yards through the air, and that was an 18-yarder, 20 yards, 24 yards, 18 yards, 30 yards, 20 yards. Now, look at Tennessee as well. Tennessee had its fair share of big plays as well, right? I mean, this is an Arkansas defense that was not good. Tennessee had 9 plays of 10 yards or more on the ground. They had 15 yards, 17 yards, 11, 12, 32, 25, 14, 26, 28, which is really impressive. DeSean Bishop had a really nice game. And then they had 6 plays through the air that garnered more than 15 yards. 19 yards, 16 yards, 15 yards, 42 yards, 27 yards, and 23 yards. So, big plays were on both sides. Defense was not a strong point in this football game, as we probably would have expected. And I kind of thought going into this game that it would get kind of wacky and weird and everything, but then Tennessee would pull away. And then, with 13, 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Tennessee led by, 17 points, whatever it was. And it kind of looked like it was going to that game, but Tennessee's defense gave up 2 late touchdowns. Not good, not good. But Tennessee got the win, 34-31, 5-1, 2-1 in Southeastern Conference play. Wasn't ugly, but maybe ugly is the norm this year. It's a different kind of ugly than last year, where it was just low scoring, run the football, play great defense, not a lot through the air. That was kind of ugly a little bit, just because there was no offensive fireworks. But you're getting offensive fireworks this year. You're just going to have to hold on to your seat a little bit because the other team is having plenty of fireworks of their own. So we'll continue to talk about it a little bit. Wanted to pass along those stats here that we kind of looked up, in terms of Tennessee's defense on the year so far. Pro Football Focus stats that matter from this football game. Missed tackles, directional passing, snap counts, all that and more. That's coming up next as we continue on here. It is your Monday morning Locked On Vols. Go ahead and stay tuned, won't you? This episode is brought to you in part by Mazda, moving the game forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than just simply put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. This week's moving of the game forward is got to be DeSean Bishop. I mean, he was phenomenal, right? Career high 146 yards, 14 carries, average over 10 yards a tote, a touchdown. Had to go out there in the fourth quarter, in the second half. That was not good to see. He was moving around. Hopefully, we'll get an injury update on him this week at some point, because I'm intrigued to know kind of how he woke up Sunday morning feeling, because you can go a little bit on adrenaline, right? But he had a phenomenal game, and Tennessee certainly benefited from DeSean Bishop. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to every Mazda vehicle. Mazda is where you can move and you can be moved. All right, guys and gals, welcome back into it. Your Monday morning Locked On Vols. I'm your host, Eric Cain. Appreciate you guys for being here. Don't forget Twitter Tuesday, mailbag edition of the show. That is coming up tomorrow. So get in your questions, comments, and concerns. I'll do my best to answer those here on the Tuesday of the third Saturday week of October. Can't wait for this week. Going to be a whole lot of fun. I do want to get into the portion of the show where we look at the Pro Football Focus grades, really the stats that matter. If you're unfamiliar with Pro Football Focus, it goes on a grading scale like this. Elite is considered 90 to 99. Very good is 80 to 89. Above average starters, 70 to 79. Average starters, 60 to 69. Below average starters, 50 to 59. And less than 50 is considered a backup level player. Take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, the grades for Pro Football Focus, and I'll mention a few of them here, but I don't take a whole lot of stock in them, and that's nothing against Pro Football Focus. It's just Pro Football Focus doesn't know the responsibilities on every single play for a Tennessee defender or offensive guy. There's just no way of knowing that, right? So the grades, but snap counts, directional passing, coverage snaps in terms of targets, yards given up, all that and more. I buy a lot of blitz pickups, all that and more. I buy a lot of stock into that. So I will mention some grades here, but really it's just kind of give an overall big picture. Joey Aguilar, having said that, had the highest grade at 90, 66 snaps. DeSean Bishop clearly had a high grade, 83, 31 snaps. Peyton Lewis had the third highest grade offensively, 17 snaps. Braylon Staley, 48 snaps, 80 grade. Wendell Moy had a highest graded for the offensive lineman. Jesse Perry, second highest grade offensive lineman. Lance Hurd, third highest graded offensive lineman. Sham and then Sam Pendleton in that order. Miles Kitzelman had a grade of 62.8 on 57 snaps. I thought he played a really, really good game, certainly. Let's look at the pressure and depth in terms of the directional passing for Joey Aguilar. Joey Aguilar in this football game on passes deep down the field, he was 2 for 5 for 69 yards. Medium, 10 of 19. He was 5 for 8 for 78 yards and a touchdown. Short, below 10 yards, he was 6 for 8 for 45 yards. And behind the line of scrimmage, he was 3 for 3 for 29 yards. Joey Aguilar was kept clean on 66% of his snaps. He was under pressure on 33% of his snaps. He was not blitzed 74% of the time, and he was blitzed 25% of the time. Quickly, while we've got this specific stat sheet open, let's look at Tennessee's pressure against Taylen Green. Taylen Green, directional passing, he was 0 for 2 on passes down the field, 20 yards or more. He was 9 of 12 in the intermediate game for 2 touchdowns, 143 yards. He was 11 for 13, below 10 yards, 107 yards, and behind the line of scrimmage, he was 1 for 1. Now, he was kept clean on 61% of the dropbacks, so Tennessee pressured him all night long. He was under pressure 38.1% of the dropbacks. He was blitzed 33.3% of the time. Okay, so a third of the football game, Taylen Green was blitzed by the Tennessee defense, and his numbers are not that great when he was blitzed. So that's a credit to Tennessee's defensive line and defense for really getting after it and doing a good job in that regard. Let's look at some coverage snaps, shall we? Or quickly, I'll look at defense, right? Give you the overall picture of Tennessee's defense. Tennessee played 26 players on that side of the football. Joshua Josephs led the way with an 87% grade, 36 snaps. James Perlotti got 9 snaps. That was big. He did well. Jordan Ross, who I thought had a phenomenal football game, 81%, 29 reps. Dominic Bailey, 35 snaps, 74 grade. Caleb Herring, 32 snaps, 66 grade. So Tennessee's Leos up at the top. They had really, really good games. Idris Farouk, 65 snaps, 65 grade. Jeremiah Thielander, 65 grade, 42 snaps. Jackson Moy, 40 snaps. David Hobbs, 34 snaps in his season debut. I thought he flashed, certainly. Bryson Eason played 39 snaps. Ty Revin, 65 snaps. Tyree West, 24 snaps. Colton Hood, 76 snaps. Arion Carter, 65 snaps. Jalen McMurray, 39 snaps. Nathan Robinson, 20 snaps. Boo Carter, 35 snaps. 57.2% was his grade. Tyree Weathersby, 22 snaps. Edwin Spillman, 36 snaps, 43.9% was his grade. I did not think Edwin Spillman had a particularly good game. And, of course, he had that targeting call later in the football game, so he will miss the first half against Alabama, that being Edwin Spillman. Missed tackles. Tennessee missed 11 tackles in this football game. Tennessee is averaging double-digit missed tackles per game, and that is alarming. That is not good. Tennessee missed 11 tackles in this football game. 2 missed tackles from Edwin Spillman, 2 from Andre Turrentine, 1 from Boo Carter, 1 from Nathan Robinson, Jalen McMurray, 1 from Sidney Walton, who played 13 snaps. I thought it was good to see him in there. 1 missed tackle from Bryson Eason, 1 missed tackle from Idris Farouk, and 1 missed tackle from Joshua Josephs in this football game. Let's see here. Snaps, missed tackles. Let's go to coverage snaps, shall we? All right, so Arion Carter was targeted once, gave up 1 reception for 8 yards. Edwin Spillman targeted once, 1 reception for 5 yards. Sidney Walton targeted once, 1 reception for 8 yards. Andre Turrentine targeted 3 times. He gave up 3 receptions, 25 yards, and a touchdown. And that was the play in the second half where I think he was late getting over to the football, but also he should have had linebacker help. Ty Redmond was targeted 5 times, gave up 5 receptions for 52 yards. 52 yards is not a lot there. Colton Hood continues his good work, right? Gave up 4 catches on 8 targets, 60 yards. Jeremiah Thielander targeted twice, gave up 2 catches for 18 yards. And got a couple more. Boo Carter targeted 4 times, gave up 3 receptions for 50 yards. He got lost in coverage a few times, it felt like. Jalen McMurray targeted 3 times, gave up 1 reception for 30 yards. So again, these are some of the stats that I think are very useful that I kind of pick and choose and pull from. Tennessee offensively played, I didn't give you guys this number, 19 players on offense. Jack Van Dorselaer was graded out the worst of the offensive guys, but he played 31 snaps, and I thought, again, he blocked pretty well. David Sanders played 22 snaps in at right tackle. William Satterwhite, who was, Sam Pendleton's not 100%, I don't believe, and so he played 19 snaps. He also got called for that illegal procedure, that illegal snap, and I need an official, and I'll say this on the officiating, guys. I know a lot of people have asked about it. I've watched football games that were way worse than what I saw on Saturday. Clearly, there was some games, Georgia-Auburn, that were officiated way worse than what I saw on Saturday, but I wouldn't say the officiating was good in this football game. I don't think that it should ever be even, okay? It should never be even, but there should never be a 10-1 disparity. Really 10-2 because they declined one of those. Tennessee declined one of those penalties. It wasn't until the midway through the third quarter that they were called for their first penalty. That should never happen. I mean, again, in a game where you can call holding every play, you can call pass interference almost every play, that should literally never happen. There should never be a disparity where there's 10-2 or 10-1. Again, I'm not saying that it should have been even, but there were some missed calls. There were some missed calls on Tennessee too, okay? Let's be fair, but there was a couple of missed defensive pass interferences. Brazo was, he was interfered with on the touchdown drop that he had. He still should have caught it though, right? That was a tough play, but it was a ball that only he could catch. So I thought it was good ball placement. Should have caught it. Shouldn't have mattered, but there was DPI on that. There was a bad missed DPI on Braylon Staley that led to a punt that had the Boo Birds out. There was a bad one there. On Joey Aguilar's lone horrible decision where he just threw the football and almost got picked off. I don't know what he was thinking there. Have not seen that this year. That was really the only just blatantly like, what were you doing play that I can think of this year from him. Scooped in. It wasn't an interception, but it was about an interception. The defender spiked it. Like, what are you doing? Why wasn't there an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty there? I need someone to explain the illegal snap to me or the illegal procedure, okay? Because it was they were lining up for it on like 4th and 1 or whatever, and Jesse Perry and Wendell Moy were drawn off. The defense jumped into the neutral zone, made them move, and then William Satterwhite picked up the football and acted like he was pass blocking. At the very least, snap the football, okay? Snap the football, snap the football, snap the football. But they're saying because he did any motion with the football other than snapping it, that's an illegal snap or an illegal procedure or whatever. But my question would be, why does that matter if the guy jumped anyway, or does this overwrite that? I mean, any way you want to spin it, that's a bad look because it was after the guys on defense jumped off sides. So it's either a bad look like it's a bad call, or it's a bad look like, dude, Satterwhite, just snap the football, man. I gotta plead ignorance there. I'm not sure how that penalty works. I need an official, and I know a few, I'll call them, to explain that to me because I've never seen that before. But that was not great. I thought the targeting call was what it was. It was targeting. I thought the hit on Joey towards the sideline where he ran into the to the communications tower thing, that was a push inbounds. Okay, that was not a lay hit. There was some extra pushing and shoving and all that. But what I'm trying to say is there was some missed calls, from the officiating crew for sure. But it was certainly not the worst game that I've seen. It was not the worst game around the league on yesterday, no doubt about that. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed some Pro Football Focus stats that matter. What does the box score say? Some box score storytelling. Say that 10 times fast. That's coming up next when we return right here on your Monday morning. Locked On Vols. Stay tuned. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer that you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and you're going to get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5. If it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. I build parlays, try player props, even follow the live lines during games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or just love diving into the stats, maybe following your fantasy football teams on Sunday, Monday, or Thursday nights, you've got a little something riding on that action. FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So, what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. That's FanDuel.com, where you can make every moment more. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth. That's like 401ks, properties, investments. So when you don't have the full picture, you can often end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all of your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorizations of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. You can identify that you're aren't saving as much as you thought you were. Monarch can help you notice those inefficient investment allocations and discover forgotten 401ks from jobs in the past. There's literally a forgotten 401k that I need to take care of, and Monarch's going to help me do just that. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com. Promo code LOCKEDONCollege. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Check out Monarch Money today. Okay, we get back to a Monday morning Locked On Vols. Again, I'm Eric Cain. Appreciate you guys for being here and or listening to us here on Locked On Vols. We are a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every single day, third Saturday in October. Looking forward to talking with Luke Robinson at some point this week, maybe Jimmy Stein, a little Locked On crossover. Alabama, they're rolling. No pun intended, I guess. Coming off that season-opening loss on the road to Florida State. They've looked good ever since. I was really intrigued with that Missouri game with Alabama on the road this past weekend. Missouri hung around, right? Missouri didn't get embarrassed. Missouri hung around. Alabama made some costly mistakes at points in times, but Alabama was too much in that football game, and they'll return back to welcome Tennessee, an offense that is potent, an offense that can score, but a defense that has got some shortcomings in this year, obviously, so far through 6 games. So looking forward to this matchup. We'll break it down and preview it every single which way as the week goes along. Tennessee is a 8.5 point underdog. Is that right? Or is it 9.5 point? My bottom scroll here is going to tell me because I put it down there. Tennessee is an 9.5 point underdog at the time of this recording. 9.5 point underdog. That total, according to our friends over at FanDuel Sportsbook, is at 59.5, about 10 spots lower than what it was against Arkansas. So let's go back and look at that Arkansas win. Again, 34-31. It was 34-17 at one point in this football game, which is annoying because Tennessee had this game wrapped up and ready to go. 17-point lead. And Tennessee scored 24 unanswered points at one point in time from the late second quarter on into the fourth quarter. But 2 late touchdowns made the score what it was, 34-31. Tennessee had to pick up a first down there at the end. They went jumbo, liked what they did there. Jack Van Dorselaer was tied into the right. They brought in Brian Grant, tied into the left. They had tied in Miles Kitzelman as a fullback. They had defensive lineman Carson Gentle as an offset fullback. Then they had Peyton Lewis in the backfield, no receivers. And they went and picked up that first down, and that was a really, really cool play to kind of end it for the University of Tennessee. But nonetheless, it was a high-scoring affair, so we thought it would be a lot of yards, a lot of points. Arkansas 496 total yards of offense on. I just need to get out my. I'm going to get out my paper box score because I can't find what I'm looking for online. It was 496 yards of total offense on 76 plays, 6.5 yards per play. Tennessee, 485 yards of total offense on 65 plays. Tennessee averaged 7.5 yards per play. So less plays, more yards per average on play. 9 less yards, or I guess 10 less yards. 11, math is hard. 11 less yards overall in this game for the Volunteers. Arkansas threw it for 256 yards. Tennessee threw it for 221 yards. Arkansas ran it for 240 yards. Yikes. Tennessee ran it for 264 yards. Man, just both rush defenses. I went over the big plays earlier in this football game on the ground, and man, DeSean Bishop had a couple of them, but goodness gracious, it was just leaving a lot left to be desired, right, defensively in terms of defending the run. Again, the penalty disparity in this football game, 10 penalties for Tennessee, 78 yards, 1 penalty that was accepted for Arkansas, 2 overall for 10 yards. Again, it should never be like that. Possession time, Arkansas possessed it for 34 minutes and 55 seconds. Tennessee 25 minutes, 5 seconds. Red zone chances and scores, 5 for 5 with 4 touchdowns for Arkansas, 6 for 6 with 4 touchdowns for Tennessee. The Volunteers, as per usual, 5 sacks in this football game. 3 takeaways, but only 7 points scored off those takeaways. It's not good enough. We talked about it earlier in segment number 1. That is just not good enough. Joey Aguilar, he was solid, right? Needed a pass there in the fourth quarter to keep his streak alive of, 37 straight games or whatever it is for over 200 yards passing. Longest FBS active streak. That's pretty phenomenal. 16-25, 221 and a tutty. Taylon Green, 21-31, 256 and 2 touchdowns. DeSean Bishop, 14 carries, 146 yards and a touchdown, averaging 10.4 yards per carry. Whoa. Mike Washington, he backed up his words this week, that's for sure. 131 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown on 19 carries. Taylon Green had 63 yards netted. He actually gained 98 yards, lost 35 on sacks. Peyton Lewis, I thought, came in, did some good things, averaged 4.1 yards on 8 carries, 33 yards, 2 touchdowns. Star Thomas, I thought he had 1 or 2 decent runs, but overall I didn't think he looked that impressive in this one. 10 carries, 23 yards, averaging 2.3 yards per carry. They took Chris Bradwell out of this football game, did a really good job kind of double covering him, sliding a safety over there to help, kind of shadow coverage over there. I mean, obviously you want to do that because Chris Bradwell's, entered the game tied for the nation lead in touchdowns. He was targeted 4 times, had 1 reception for 5 yards. Again, he should have had a touchdown. I know he was interfered with, but, man, that's one you got to catch if you're Chris Bradwell. But only 1 reception for 5 yards. Braylon Staley looked great, man. 8 targets, 6 receptions, 109 yards, career high. Phenomenal. I think that's a career high. Phenomenal game from Braylon Staley, coming off a game that was not great for him at Mississippi State. Miles Kitzelman, I thought, played very well. 56 yards, 5 catches, 1 touchdown. Thought he blocked really well, too, on the DeSean Bishop touchdown and on a DeSean Bishop run where he picked up 32 yards or whatever. Mike Matthews got involved as the game went on later. They gave it to him on an end around, thought that looked good. Went to him twice on 1 possession, 46 yards on 3 catches. You look at Tennessee defensively. Again, it's frustrating because you sacked the quarterback 5 times. You had 9 TFLs. I mean, come on, right? But you give up all those rushing yards and stuff. It's frustrating. Andre Turntime led the team with 11 tackles. Idris Farouk, 9 tackles. Arion Carter, 8 tackles. You had David Hobbs, 1 sack. Dominic Bailey, half a sack. Tyree West, 1 sack. Jalen McMurray, half a sack. Jackson Moy, half a sack. And a couple of different guys got involved with some TFLs. So those are the box score stats. Some looks good, others don't. I'll reference you back to segment number 1 on some of the stuff that's alarming and what Tennessee's done. Third downs, again, Arkansas was 7 of 13 on third downs. Every single conversion was of 6 yards or more. 5 of the 7 was of 7 yards or more. It's not good enough. Tennessee's got to be better in that regard. But Tennessee found a way. Ugly. Can ugly be the norm? Well, defensively, maybe. Offensively, Tennessee's going to keep you in every single game because Tennessee is a good offensive football team. Now you got to get healthy. Braylon Staley got banged up a little bit. DeSean Bishop got banged up a little bit. David Hobbs got banged up a little bit. Sam Pendleton was in and out of the football game. Got to get healthy and put your best foot forward because Alabama's a good football team. And it should be a really, really good football game down in Tuscaloosa this weekend for the 3rd Saturday in October. Appreciate you guys for being here, guys and gals, for tuning in. If this is, if you're a Tennessee football fan, you're new to the show, hope you stay, man. This is the show for you. Every single weekday morning when you wake up, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, tell those Tennessee football friends and your family, your friends, your family members, this is the show for them. Send in those questions, comments, concerns at _Cain or at Locked On Vols. And of course, you can comment on the YouTube channel for the mailbag edition of the show. I'll do my best to answer questions on tomorrow, Tuesday's show. Unless I get a crossover scheduled, then we'll bump into Wednesday like we did last week. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Tennessee's 5-1, 2-1 in SEC play. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Tennessee's won 5 games. Tennessee's got a good record. Tennessee can absolutely win on the road this week. It would make you feel better, though, if you tighten up some things on defense. We'll talk about it all this week right here on Locked On Vols. Have a good rest of your Monday, everybody.